What's up? I don't know about you. The one thing I love about having my own songs is I find myself, you just didn't see all the jamming that was going on during the song because I had all of the jamming going on. And as you see, I have changed locations. I have a little bit different background than you've been seeing me on. But I am so thrilled and excited to be here. I know I took 1 week off for Growth Group with Dr. Ericka, and now I'm back. So I'm so excited to be spending this day with you as we are in the first week of 2022. I don't know about you. Sometimes it seems weird trying to write 2022. It just seems a little different, but we're going to make it through. I don't know about you, but I know for me, the beginning of the year, I'm always catching myself. But I have to say, I'm proud of myself that I have pretty much written the right year every time I've had to. So I'm going to pat myself on the back, and I encourage you to pat yourself on the back whenever you need. I'm down for hand pats, high fives, hugs. Sometimes we have to do things for ourselves and treat ourselves right. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this because I'm not going to keep you here all of the day. So today we are talking about 3 ways to start your 2020. I should have known things were going too well. 3 ways to start your 2022 off right. Because one of the biggest things is I know we can have all these discussions around if January, kind of our 12-month year, and January 1 being the beginning of a new year, is arbitrary or not. But I do think it's nice that we are periodically taking stock of where we are and looking forward to what we want to do and how to get there. And I think one of the natural times to do that is around the beginning of the year. Now, I think the one big thing to remember is that one of the things that causes people to fail with New Year's resolutions and all these things we say we want to do is to not check in with ourselves along the path and along the way. Because there are times where we have all the best intentions in the world and things doesn't quite go right. That doesn't mean we can't get back on track, but we have to be able to have those honest looks and honest conversations with ourselves to do that. So I want to say that we're going to talk about some ways to start this year off right. This isn't going to be the only time this year that you use these strategies. Are you all right? You ready? So the first thing I'm going to do is welcome you all here. Welcome to Growth Group with Dr. Ericka. Next thing is a little bit of housekeeping. The first thing is if you know someone that needs this, hit that little share button on the bottom. The next thing, if you also know someone that needs this, you can always hit that little tag button at the bottom too. It's like a little button, like lots of little buttons down there. So can you hit all the buttons for me? The last thing is if you're watching it later, don't even worry about it. Just take hashtag replay in the comments and I'll know you're here. Anytime, toss questions in there. If they come up even after the show is over, I will circle back to you. Sound like a deal? All right. So part of the reasons I think it's so important for us to have these conversations is that for some people, 2021 was great. I know some people that they hit records with their business. They made more money than they ever made. But then there's the other side of 2021, which is a lot of people still experience a lot of loss. Some is loss is in humans, some loss as far as their own functioning, some loss as far as financial and job, and also just the stress of the pandemic and growing racial tensions. So I just want to say out there that part of the reason we're doing this is no matter how your 2021 went, the idea or the goal would be for the next year to be better. So let's go ahead and get into some strategies. But in case you don't know me, let me tell you who I am. I am Dr. Ericka, Harvard trained double board certified psychiatrist and integrative lifestyle coach. I am on a mission to help you be better, do better, and live better. I do that through my adult telepsychiatry, my books, including Fix Your Fairy Tale, A Woman's Guide to a Great Life, Love, and Legacy, my speaking, and my podcast, Better with Dr. Ericka, that we will talk about later. Now, I do all that to help busy people like you that give and give and give and give and give some more, but often don't give much to yourself. I do this to put you back in your life. All right, so let's do this. Let's make this happen. So first way number 1, the first thing is you need to acknowledge your wins. Sometimes it's so easy to get caught up on what the big goal is. You got to celebrate all the wins, big and small. And the other thing is sometimes we get the big wins, we get those big goals, and then you start thinking about the next thing immediately. So I want to encourage you to acknowledge all your wins, and I'm going to give you one to start with. So this is the gimme. The gimme is that You already made it through 2021 because you're watching this on January 4th, 2022. So it means you already made it. So you did. All right. And if you want, one of the great things would be if drop in the chat some ways or some wins that you've already gotten this year, or some wins you got at the end of the year that you reflect upon. I love to celebrate wins. So we might as well have a little win party. Number two, I don't know if these numbers look right on the screen. Is give yourself some grace, because a lot of times it's so easy to get caught up in all these things we wanted to do, all these ways we wanted to feel. And I want you to give yourself some grace if it didn't all go the way you wanted it to. If work didn't go the way, if your personal life didn't go the way, if you did not have the best relationships, if you feel like you gained weight, if you feel like you had these big goals but didn't quite meet them, or you felt like you were living check to check, or you were just praying for the next stimmy check, give yourself some grace. The reason I'm going to say give yourself some grace is, do you know what happens if you don't give yourself grace? You are going to be blaming yourself. You may even feel guilty. You'll have negative feelings about yourself and be more likely to be self critical. The reason I need you to give yourself grace is, if we look at all these different constructs, including the law of attraction, is if you're in a place where you're being very self critical, you're judging yourself, if you're hard on yourself and down on yourself, that emotional energy may continue to come to you. And the last thing you want is more disappointment in yourself, more frustration, more sadness, more guilt. You don't want any more of that. So I want you to give yourself some grace. The other reason to give yourself grace is it releases you from some of that pressure. So I want you to release yourself of that so that you start fresh. Sometimes it's good to start with a fresher or cleaner slate, and giving yourself grace helps give you a cleaner slate. You got it? Sound like a plan? So we are on to good old number 3 while these wins come on in. Number 3 is visualize what you want and how you want to feel. That's why it's a two-parter, because it's one thing thinking about what you want, but some of the power of it is in actually holding on to what those feelings are. So one of the ways to supercharge visualization is to not just visualize the outcome, is to also visualize the steps along the way, the smaller steps that you need to get to the big thing, but also to visualize and fully immerse yourself in how it will feel. So that's why it's a two-part of literally feeling like you can see what you want, but you want to know how you're going to feel, because that's going to help you manifest better. And inherently, or implied in this, is that you're going to need to have a little talk with yourself and say, self, what do I want? What do I want my life to look like? Because for you to visualize it, you got to know what you're visualizing. So I want you to do a little quality time, a little quiet time, and say, self, what do I want? And when you do this, I'm going to give you one other bit of homework with it. You'll say, self, what I want. And I don't want you to put boundaries on it. I don't want you to put limitations on it. I don't want you to start thinking, oh, I want to write this book, but it's hard to write, or I've never written, or my last book didn't sell. I don't want you to think of all the buts and all the reasons why not. I want you to visualize with reckless abandon. So I want you to sit and think about, with reckless abandon, if the world was your entire oyster, which it actually is, what do you want? And that's what I want you to visualize and to feel. Sound like a plan? So those are those 3 things. We're going to do a quick wrap up, and then we're going to get you out. So the first thing is if you know someone that needs this, please share. Second, if you know someone that needs this, tag with them. The last thing, if you're watching it later, don't even worry about it. No sweat. Just put hashtag replay in the comments. And if you're coming in late and you want to catch it from the front, you can always catch it from the beginning. All right. So we're going to do a quick review and then get you out of here, because we are talking about, let's see if we can make all this work, 3 ways to start your 22 off right. So your 2022. Says we're going to take some momentum. And what I want us to do is start building positive momentum in the beginning of the year. Because there's no day like today to start. So the first is acknowledge your wins, even the baby wins. Don't wait until you just get the big ones. Waking up some days is a win. Finishing your work is a win. Getting that important email out is a win. We're celebrating all the wins, getting a workout, having a healthy meal, anything you can think of. But celebrate it. High five yourself, pat yourself on the back. Happy dance it out, but celebrate all the wins. And you can start with I got one for you, which is the gimme, which is that you made it to 2022. You are here. The next is give yourself grace. Don't give yourself more guilt and disappointment and frustration with yourself. Give yourself grace so that you can have the emotional freedom and the space to start again and to push forward and to make this year better than the last one. But you need to make space for it, and you make space for it by giving yourself grace. The third is we're going to visualize what you want and how you want to feel. And as we said, this is where the homework comes in. Have an honest talk with yourself about what you want, but dream with reckless abandon. Don't put all those limitations on your dreams and your goals. World is your oyster, and visualize all the little steps, the big wins, the little wins, and how you'll feel along the way. Make you a more powerful manifester. So that's what we got for today. So I have a couple updates for you. One is number one, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to see me. So thank you. Growth Groove with Dr. Ericka comes out on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday is also another special day for me as far as my podcast. Better with Dr. Ericka episodes typically drop on Tuesday mornings. As you see below, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the usual spots and catch the podcast. Or you can go to betterthepodcast.com and see my website. Now, the thing I need to let you know is season 2 just ended the other week, but we are dropping bonus content, or should I say I am dropping bonus content. So I actually had an episode drop today, and I want to tell you a little bit about it. This is it. Inspiration, intentions, and hope with me. So I actually did a solo episode. It is just me. You get to just hear me. It's a little shorter, so you don't get tired of me. But I'm excited about you getting a chance to hear it. And we're going to talk about some things related to coming out of the last year, finding inspiration in everyday things, finding ways to hold on to hope. And I'm really excited about it, and I hope you listen to it. Now, I want you to follow or subscribe to the podcast for a couple of reasons. One is, yes, it proves that people are listening. But the other is, especially at a time where we're dropping bonus episodes and extra content, you'll automatically get notified of it if you're following or subscribing. And I don't want you to miss a thing because I have some really good stuff, and I'm so excited about what we're putting together for season 3. The next thing is, I told you how to find the podcast. So, yay. The other thing is the followers of my podcast are Better Nation. So with Better Nation, not only do you get to hang with cool people, but also you'll get some bonus content, some bonus coaching tips. You'll also get some enhanced show notes, and that basically gives layouts of the episode itself with timestamps, so it can tell you where to find stuff. And then also you'll have all the resources and everything at hand. So I would love for you to check that out. You can go to joinbetternation.com. joinbetternation.com to check that out. Again, I will be back Tuesday night at 7 for Growth Groove with Dr. Ericka. I want to say thank you again for hanging out with me. I also want to say it's a blessing just to be here. And I want to encourage you to be open to new experiences and to continue to spend time with me because I love spending time with you. So until next time, have a better day.